Hey everyone, so today is day 705 of my sobriety journey. I really wish I had have shared more in the beginning of my sobriety journey than I did, because I didn't realize, I think, how much of an impact it would have, or how effective it would be to look back on all of the aha moments that I've had since I've gotten sober. And to be honest, when I made the decision to get sober, I meant it, but I really didn't think that I'd ever stick to it. I was afraid that I would fall back into old habits, and this was something that I was going into that was completely unknown territory. And all of my fears going into getting sober were entirely ridiculous now looking at it, because the things that I feared the most really are the most irrelevant part of my sobriety now. The one thing that has really set out in my mind recently is the fact that I can take a step back and look at my behavior, my patterns, and see how it made other people feel. And I do believe that when you're making a change in your life, especially if you're trying to transition from a negative pattern or habit to a more positive, productive habit, that in order to change that, in order to stop that thing that is holding you back, you really need to see the pain that it's caused you and other people in your life that matter to you in the past, present, and really be able to see that if your behavior doesn't change, how it will affect them in the future. And recently, we had our county fair, and ever since I moved to this county, like 16 years ago, I had always attended the fair, and it became something that it really wasn't about the fair. It really wasn't about anything other than the ability to just go and party. And since I got sober, well, actually the fair happened a month before I decided to get sober, and we didn't make it because we were out of town. But I have not gone for 3 years, and my kids have went with their dad. My son went with some friends that took him to go ride on rides, but I made the decision not to go. And I realized for me that when I did attend the fair, it just meant that I would get falling down drunk, and I spent way too much money, and I really didn't have a good time. It was hot. It would rain most of the time. It was, if you live in Texas, you know how humid it is and how nasty it is. And now that I don't drink, I realize that, I do have, social anxiety, and I had to just liquor and boost myself up to go to these events. So I'm like, if I had to go to these things drunk, then, I would drink before, drink the whole time there. Then it's really not worth it. So I made the decision not to go. I don't think that I'm missing anything. But as my kids have gotten older, they're more social. They want to go. A lot of their friends were showing animals. And so they went, and they were excited. And obviously the reason why my kids went was a whole lot different than why I went as an adult. But this last week when it was the fair, I didn't see my girls. I saw them in the beginning when I picked Emily up from school, but we didn't see them, and they were with their dad, and they went to the fair, and there's nothing wrong with it. But at one point I thought, gosh, I haven't even seen my kids for a whole week, all because of the fair. And I wasn't mad, and I really wasn't sad. It was just weird, and it felt funky not seeing them. And I've dealt with this as my daughter's gotten older. She just turned 18. She has a huge social life, so I see her less and less. And I don't blame her. I'm happy for her, but it kind of sucks. And then I catch myself thinking, my God, there's only one more year before she goes off to college. And then I have to sit back, and instead of leading with my emotions and feeling that feeling of loss that, I'm trying to hang on to those last moments before she leaves and control situations like I used to in the past. I realize now, it dawned on me when I was going through these thoughts in my mind last week. I thought, gosh, for years I went to the fair, and, we might take them with us, and I would throw money at them and be like, go ride rides, go hang out with your friends, take your brother, whatever. Or, we would go ride rides, drink while we were going from ride to ride, then drop them off with a babysitter, or as they got older, leave them home. And I thought, gosh, here I am thinking I feel sorry for myself that, I'm not getting to spend time with my kids, that the fair is more important to them than, me. And then I was like, God, that is the way I must have made them feel all these years. And I thought, God, at least they're doing it just because they're kids and they're enjoying a social life and they're going to just have a good time riding rides and being a kid. And I was just doing it because I was so wrapped up in my own pain and so focused on, an outcome of just numbing myself out that I never thought about what it was doing to other people. And I really I've shared in the past that I feel that drugs and alcohol are really, they're not like an epidural, that people use it as a form of, pain relief, to numb their mind, to get a vacation from their pain. But the thing is, it doesn't just fix that one problem that you have. It creates all these other problems. It's not just a straight shot to solve what you're going through. It creates a huge amount of other issues. And the one lesson that I've taken away from life that I sometimes get away from, but I keep trying to reset myself back, is that when you're only focused on you and when you're only focused on your pain, it's really hard to see it from other people's point of view. And it was the same thing, is that I was so focused on drinking and drowning my own sorrows and living my life that I never was able to really see at that time how my children must have felt as kids, that they were just pushed off and that the fair was more important than them. And I truly believe that if you can take a step back and not be so consumed with why your life is depressing, why you're upset, who let you down, who hurt you, then you can really see that a lot of these lessons keep presenting themselves. And I truly believe in karma or the universe, whatever you want to call it, is that these lessons keep showing up until you finally understand it. And you have to be able to have some empathy and some, I don't know, I guess you have to see other people's point of view and then forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made, but realize that there's life lessons attached. So next time you find yourself feeling mad or upset or let down, instead of focusing on your pain, think about if you've ever done this to somebody else and what you can learn from it. And even if you've never done anything like that, you can learn from it, because if there's something you don't like, you can make sure that you don't ever make somebody else feel that way. And the book that I'm reading now from Brene Brown is called Braving the Wilderness, and she talks about a lot, like I have talked about, that I didn't feel like I had a connection with anybody growing up. I didn't belong. And the same thing with her. And even though she spent a lot of time feeling sorry for herself, feeling lost, she realizes now that her success in her career has been solely because of the fact that she never felt like she was connected to people, early on or as a young adult. And so these things that you're struggling with might be your ticket to success. It might be something that gives you purpose or gives you the ability to give back to the world. So instead of feeling sorry for yourself, ask yourself that how is this pain or this experience going to help my life or help somebody else's life? So anyways, today's day 705 of my sobriety journey, and the lesson here is do unto others as you'd have done to you, and don't focus just on your feelings and your emotions. Think about others around you and how you might have made them feel at the same point.